The concept of the emergence of power in female monarchs refers to the historical phenomenon where women, often against societal norms, rose to positions of supreme authority and influence, leading kingdoms, empires, or societies. This concept highlights how female monarchs defied traditional gender roles and societal expectations to assert their leadership, and it underscores the significant impact these women had throughout history. The significance of female monarchs in history is monumental, as their leadership not only shaped the political landscapes of their respective times, but also challenged and redefined the perceptions of women's capabilities. Their reigns offer valuable insights into the dynamics of power, gender, and leadership. For instance, Queen Elizabeth I of England, known as the Virgin Queen, demonstrated immense political acumen, maintaining her country's stability and fostering the Elizabethan era's cultural renaissance. Similarly, Pharaoh Hatshepsut of ancient Egypt broke new ground by establishing herself as a pharaoh, adopting male regalia and titles to legitimize her rule, which led to a prosperous period marked by monumental building projects and extensive trade. Support for the idea of powerful female monarchs often comes from feminist historians who argue that these women's achievements illustrate the potential for women to govern effectively and challenge patriarchal structures. These figures serve as inspirations, providing historical precedents for women's leadership in contemporary society. Nonetheless, the rise of female monarchs was not without challenges. They often faced controversies such as questions of legitimacy or opposition from male counterparts who deemed them unfit for leadership due to prevailing gender biases. Cultural and political barriers meant they had to be particularly resourceful and strategic to navigate the complexities of their positions. This concept of power emergence in female monarchs directly influences our understanding of historical narratives and gender studies. It interconnects with broader themes of women's rights and feminist movements by highlighting historical instances of female empowerment and challenging the traditional male-dominated historiography. Through examining these stories, we gain a deeper appreciation of the diverse forms of leadership and the resilience of women who carved out paths to power, ultimately influencing the course of history and paving the way for future generations. The concept of early influences, matriarchal societies, and their impact explores the role of early matriarchal societies in shaping the governance and leadership roles that women have historically held, particularly focusing on queens and pharaohs who have wielded power. Matriarchal societies are social systems in which women, especially mothers, hold primary power positions in roles of political leadership, moral authority, and control of property. These societies often revered the feminine principle, which significantly influenced their structure and culture. The significance of matriarchal societies lies in their role in paving the way for female leadership, challenging the traditionally male-dominated power structures. By examining these societies, we gain insights into how certain cultural and social environments enabled women to ascend to positions of power, thus shaping history through queens like Cleopatra or Hatshepsut. Understanding these early influences provides context for the acceptance and legitimization of female power figures in different cultures. One example is the Mosuo people of China, often cited as a modern example of a matriarchal society. Here, lineage and inheritance are traced through the female line, and women hold significant roles in both the family and the community. Another historical example is the Minoan civilization on Crete, where there is substantial evidence to suggest that women held significant religious and possibly political authority. These societies demonstrate how early structures could empower women in leadership roles. Supporters of the importance of matriarchal influences argue that such societies challenged patriarchal norms and allowed for a diversity of governance that often led to more peaceful and cooperative forms of leadership. They emphasize that understanding these structures can inspire contemporary gender equality movements by showing historical precedents of women-led societal success. However, the concept of matriarchal societies is not without controversy. Some scholars argue that truly matriarchal societies never existed or were extremely rare, and that many perceived matriarchal elements are often misunderstood or romanticized versions of history. Additionally, the definition of power may vary, leading to debate over what constitutes a matriarchal society. This point connects to the broader topic of women of power by highlighting the foundational environments that allowed women to rise as influential leaders. These matriarchal beginnings can be seen as precursors to the acceptance of powerful female figures, such as queens and pharaohs, who shaped history. Understanding these influences provides critical insight into how women have navigated and sometimes reshaped power dynamics throughout history. In exploring the topic, women of power, queens and pharaohs who shaped history, understanding the role and impact of queens and pharaohs in ancient civilizations is critical. Historically, these powerful women were leaders who wielded considerable influence in their societies, often ascending to power in a time when leadership roles were predominantly male-dominated. As queens, they were not merely consorts, but often acted as choregants, advisors, and rulers in their own right, commanding armies, dictating policy, and engaging in diplomacy. The significance of these queens and pharaohs lies in their ability to defy gender norms and establish legacies that shaped political, cultural, and social landscapes of their times. Their ability to assert agency and authority amidst patriarchal structures highlights their extraordinary leadership qualities and strategic acumen. Consider Cleopatra VII of Egypt, whose political savvy and alliances with Roman leaders Julius Caesar and Mark Antony were pivotal in the power dynamics of the Roman world. Her reign exemplifies how a powerful female leader could maneuver through the treacherous political landscapes to protect her dynasty and her people. Similarly, Hatshepsut, one of the most successful pharaohs of Egypt, assumed the role of king and managed to maintain peace and prosperity, spearheading expansive trade expeditions and ambitious architectural projects. These examples underscore their significance in history as they challenge the status quo, leaving enduring marks on their civilizations. However, their reigns were not without controversy. Cleopatra's relationships with Roman leaders were scrutinized and often criticized as manipulative, overshadowing her political achievements. Hatshepsut faced posthumous attempts to erase her legacy, as subsequent male rulers sought to expunge her from historical records to preserve patriarchal norms. These challenges reflect the persistent struggles women faced even in positions of power. In terms of influence, the legacies of these women ripple through time, affecting how subsequent generations view female leadership. They serve as early icons of female empowerment, inspiring modern movements advocating for gender equality in leadership roles across various sectors. In conclusion, the stories of these queens and pharaohs offer a profound exploration into the dynamics of power, gender, and leadership. They demonstrate that leadership is not confined by gender and emphasize the importance of diverse representation in historical narratives, thus enhancing our understanding of a more inclusive and multifaceted past. In exploring the heading Iconic Rulers, Profiles of Prominent Queens and Pharaohs, we delve into the remarkable figures who transcended their time to leave an indelible mark on history. These iconic rulers, queens and pharaohs, were not merely figureheads, they wielded true power and shaped the destinies of their nations. This concept centers on the extraordinary abilities and achievements of these women, who defied societal norms and demonstrated political acumen, strategic brilliance, and visionary leadership. The importance of this point in relation to the broader topic of women of power, queens and pharaohs who shaped history cannot be overstated. By examining these historic figures, we gain an understanding of the roles women played in governance, diplomacy, and cultural development, challenging the oft-prevailing narrative of male dominance in historical leadership. These women not only led their people, but also influenced the course of history, inspiring future generations. Take, for instance, Cleopatra VII of Egypt. Known for her intelligence and political savvy, Cleopatra adeptly managed alliances and conflicts with Rome, preserving Egypt's independence for as long as possible amid the Roman expansion. Her life has become a symbol of powerful female rulership and remains a compelling subject of literature and film. Another example is Queen Elizabeth I of England, whose reign, known as the Elizabethan era, oversaw cultural flourishing and the defeat of the Spanish Armada. Her ability to maintain stability and foster prosperity in a male-dominated world illustrates her exceptional leadership qualities. Supporters of this idea argue that celebrating these rulers highlights the potential of women to lead and effect change within patriarchal systems. However, there are challenges and controversies surrounding the portrayal of these figures. Some historians argue that the legacies of female rulers have been romanticized, overshadowing the complexities of their reigns. Additionally, there is criticism about focusing predominantly on figures from Western and ancient civilizations, which can ignore influential female leaders from other cultures and periods. This exploration of iconic rulers connects to the broader themes of leadership, gender roles, and historical narrative within the main topic. By acknowledging these queens and pharaohs, we gain a more nuanced understanding of history and the diverse influences that have shaped our world. It underscores the potential impact of female leadership and challenges traditional views of power dynamics, inspiring continued dialogue on gender equality and representation in leadership today.